Well, hello. This is Verona Willis Brown from the Question Live Show. Yes, indeed, we are doing pre-recorded to live streaming. Why? Because if you've been watching, you see that I'm a little bit like what they say, under the weather. But anywho, that is not stopping me from showing up for you. I will show for you some way along the line because what? It is my assignment. And because God is taking care of me, who will be see you will be seeing that lovely lady on the screen today. Yes, indeed. That is who you will be seeing on screen today. She is the one doing all the visible today. She will be visible today. Look at her. That is Verona Willis Brown. Yep. So let us say when you get this message, you might just be waking up or you might just be going to sleep. Whichever way you look at it, we are going to go through in some topic tonight because until I am fully well, we will back on live streaming where I will be on camera and not that cute face girl over there. So yes, indeed. So with that said, we don't have our regular live streaming. So we are gonna do a little shorter version today because I am doing much better. Yes, I am. I am doing much better today. But even though I am doing much better today, I still want to get my rest in. So I will not be doing a lot of talking. And tonight we want to talk about one topic about how do we see God in the storm? Okay, in the storm of life, whether it is a literal storm, mental storm, emotional storm, financial storm, spiritual storm, whatever the storms are in life. Where do we see God? How do we see God? How do we acknowledge that God is even there? Oftentimes, when we are going through some things, we said, God, why? We question God. We say, God, you shouldn't. God, you're not there. God, you don't love me. God, why would you allow this? All these sort of stuff, okay? We talk about people going through grieving moment, abuse, hurt, pain, all sort of stuff. And we talk about our sister who just buried her husband last week. That is what you call a storm. Now, before I did this recording, I received a news that someone that I'm familiar with passed away. That is a storm. Though someone might be saying they don't have money, that is a storm. Whichever way we look at somebody saying somebody just left me, somebody broke up with me, that is a storm. But that is what it is. Life come with storm. So if you're familiar with storm, hurricane, tropical storm, all sort of stuff, physical storm, then you know there's some form of preparation that have to be made. But sometimes the storm just show up and without no warning, darling. But most of the time you get some form of warning. Why? Because the time gets dark, the weatherman report like don't go outside, gushing winds, lots of rain, and all sort of stuff. Sometimes you have snowstorm if you're in a country where there is snowfall. You get snowfall as well. And snowstorm where guess what? You get locked inside your house. You can't come outside. I like to talk about my story. Yeah. So before I even get into my story, I always say, get something to drink. And this is a good time for you to support me by drinking something, really. Because I need to stay hydrated so I can be better to come back to you, right? So I need to resume my live streaming. So I need to get better. So this is a perfect time for you to drink on my behalf. Yep. Why are you looking at that lady on the screen? Just drink on my behalf because I'm going to be sipping my tea back here. Yeah. And for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, I want to welcome you. Even though you came in as a recording, that's okay. It's live. It's me still. And for those of you who have been here, returning audience, I want to say to you, thank you. I appreciate you showing up every single time. But of course, you don't see me on screen, but you see my other version on the screen. Yes, indeed. Just think about, She looking at her first, and I am speaking. So that's how we are going to roll into things. So I like to use analogy for things that I go through, my story. I like to tell my own story. Yes, I like to tell my own story because when I tell my own story, what will happen? I can only relate to me, and you can relate to it as well. But no one can tell my story better than I do. So I like to tell my own story. Good. Now, you see, when we talk about storm, we're talking about you experiencing a storm, a turmoil, a change, a shake-up, a something. Have you ever been in a tropical storm where the wind is whooshing and whispering and shouting and going, lightning flashing and thunder rolling, and the sky is black? Okay, black. And the time is dark. It could be 12 p.m., but it seems like it's midnight. Yes, those are turmoils that we go through. And that's what I just described is a literally stormy day. But somewhere in our life, we might be going through emotional storm, mental storm. And these are things that affect our decision, our way of living our lifestyle. So we want to come into a place where we acknowledge that no matter what, God is there. So the question that we ask tonight is, how do we see God through these storms? How do we see God through these storms? This is the question that we want to talk about tonight. Growing up in Jamaica, yeah, they have tropical storms and hurricanes. And if you can relate to these storms, whether in Jamaica or not, you can put in the comment section and say, yes, I can relate to these kind of storm. And if you are experiencing any form of storm, grieving storm, abuse storm, breakup storm, whatever storm, you can put in the comments as well. And we can talk about it just the same. Why? Because we're here, and I'm just here as your host to remind you, even though I might be going through a little shaking up of storm, not feeling so my 100%, God is still here. And I'm just here to remind you. So whether you're just waking up, whether you are up, you're going, whether you're going to your bed, I just wanted to remind you that God is still here. God is still God. God did not go anywhere. So we ask ourselves the question, how do we see God in the storm? You see, I always like to say, pray. And I hear this all the time. You're going through something, pray. You're going through something, pray. How many of you have you heard that? Going through something, pray. Pray about it. Pray about it. But sometimes we need to pass prayer and go into action, darling. Because prayer is the first move. And then prayer with action, honey, that's your faith kicking in. That's you jumping the ladder. That's you launching out. That's you stepping the next step after the first one, and you're going forward. But no matter what you do, let me tell you something, audience. Prayer is not no high class degree course. Prayer is not where you're like, oh, I'm getting my master degree in this. I don't got my doctorate degree in prayer. No, prayer is a conversation that you are having with God. It don't have to be so eloquent and it don't have to be so proper. Yo, God, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? However you want to go back to talk to God, just don't disrespect it. Just don't disrespect God. That's it. Don't disrespect God. Prayer doesn't mean hold a conversation. You might not have nothing but say, Lord, help me. That might be your prayer for today. Lord, strengthen me. That might be your prayer today. So, yes, indeed. So, listen, we're not going to talk long today because, like I said, she's doing all the talking today in a bright yellow. I hope she's bring radiating some sunshine to you in your soul. And I hope she's saying, giving you a vibes, right? I hope she's giving you some form of vibe, of happiness, a vibe of living it up, a vibe of saying, hey, we are here. I hope she's giving you that. That's a Jamaican vibe over there, girl. Yeah. Before I do that, before I talk about God, I want to give some shout out birthday. Listen, I told you, for those of you who've been here, y'all know I talk about my family. my family is huge. I don't have big family. My family is huge because when we say big family, we probably talking about five, six, 7 people. I came from a huge family. Huge. So we have birthdays just about every month. Honey, there's a birthday every month up in this family. And every year there's a baby born up in this family. I swear, I tell you. So I want to give some shout out to some birthday. The birthdays of my family. Birthday from January 1st comes straight down. All the way down almost to the 31st. We got some birthday up in here, up in here. Nieces, nephew, this, that, sister, everybody, a lot of people. Yes, indeed. So I want to give some shout out to them. And may their soul carry on in happiness. Yes, indeed. And there are too many of them to be naming names. And I don't want to leave nobody out. So birthday shout out to the family and friends out there. If they have a song that says, all who born in January, skip around. Skip around, baby, skip around. So you hear me still snuffing. So let's talk about how do we see God in the storm. First thing, when we are weak, when we feel weak, and of course we are going to feel weak because it's a part of our feeling. When we are feeling weak because we lost someone, when we are feeling weak, we're grieving. When we are feeling because we got some sudden news, when we are feeling that we got some health news, when we are weak because somebody left us, when we are feeling weak because things are not looking going the way we planned it, we are feeling weak. When we are feeling weak, what we got to do, know that God is our strength. God is our strength in our weakness. Yes, indeed. So let us remember when we are feeling weak, I talk about this before that when we say I am something, whatever word come after am, that is what we are going to manifest. Therefore, we don't want to keep on saying that I am weak, I am weak, I'm just feeling a little bit weak. Right, but we're gonna call God and we say we need strength, right? I am strong because guess what? The more we talk about something is the more it will manifest. So we start saying, I am strong. So when you are weak, when I am weak, when we're feeling weak, we call on God. We know that God is our strength. Yes, indeed. And because God is our strength, God built our faith in this. And when we feel like we don't have no faith, because when we are going through a storm, we have the tendency to fear the most evil thing, the worst thing ever. We have the biggest fear when we are going through a storm. It doesn't matter what storm it is, we have a fear. But God is saying, listen, while you're going through the storm, I want to build up your faith. Yes, indeed. I want to build up your faith. Why? Because He is the one guiding the storm. He's the one that's guiding us. He's the one saying, listen, even though it looks dark, I am going to push you through. Even though it looks dark, I'm going to let you know where to step. Even though it's dark, I am going to guide you along the way. And let me tell you, every storm got to stop, honey. Every single storm got to stop. And when it stops, you'll be surprised of how things flourish after a storm. I am from a farmer's background. I talked about this before. And when a storm passes, even though some things root up and root up and root up, listen, you see the farm start springing right up and everything start looking green and nice. So no matter what your storm is right now, whatever you see, somebody betrayed you, somebody scammed you, somebody this, don't worry about it. You are going to flourish. Yes, indeed. And then when we need guidance, we got to seek for spiritual mentor. Do not just seek anybody. We got to seek spiritual mentor when we are going through our storm. Spiritual mentor help us to build up our spirit. Spiritual mentor help us to guide us along the way. Spiritual mentor teach us that, okay, we don't always going to stay down. The storm is not going to last forever. So we must seek to find spiritual mentor. Excuse me. Yes. Now, when the way seems dark, because of course, let me tell you, every single storm it come with darkness. Our eyes get dark when we get news of death, when we experience death. We get darkness come. When we have a literal storm, the place get dark. So when we are going through darkness and the place seems dark, just to know that God is our light. He is our light. He's providing light for us. So whichever way we look at it, we must believe that God is in the storm. We must believe that God is there, saying, I am your light. I will guide you along the way. And what other light do you need more than God? God is the one that created us. So when He provides light, honey, it's a light from here until yonder. Mhm. When we are going through a storm, sometimes we get frail and we get frustrated and we get sad and we get broken and all that stuff. And if you've been to a literal storm, hurricane, whatever, your roof might fly right off, your door might drop off, your window might break up, you start getting leakage in your house, all sort of stuff might be happening to you. But let me tell you, when your storm is going, it is a form of preparation. Our storm build us up. Our storm help us to grow. Because if we don't go through storm, honey, you can't just go into life easy. Life says come and life goes. Life hit and life goes. Life come with the good, bad, and ugly. And whatever way you look at it, we gotta go through some stuff. We gotta go through some storm. If we don't go through some storm, we will just be like a dwarf that growing. Okay, so storm help us to grow, and it transform our life into beautiful being. And when we are transformed, what will happen? We get to transform other people's lives, because our transformation become a testimony to somebody else. So yes, indeed, excuse me. So we want to go to our storm knowing that God is in the storm with us. And next thing, when we need to preserve, when we are going through the storm, we need to preserve our destiny. When we are going to the storm, God is saying, I am going to preserve your destiny. Why? Because I am the way. If you notice that when you survive a storm, you still have something. Some people say they lost everything, but you can never lose everything in a storm. How can you lose everything with a storm? If you are talking and you say, I lost everything, you are lying to your destiny and you are lying to God and you're lying to yourself. So no one can lose everything in a storm, because God is the way. And if you survive a literal storm or mental, emotional, spiritual, financial storm, God is saying, I am the way. I will preserve your destiny. So let's wind this down and saying that when we become restless, because Lord Jesus know, yes, when we become restless, you know that sometimes, like right now, for the past couple of days, sometimes I get restless. You know, they say you're under the weather. Ah, when you're under the weather, if you can relate, you can say yes, yes, yes. When you're under the weather, you become restless. Yes, you become restless. And I tell you, I know what that is, because yeah, yesterday I was like, ooh, the pillow wasn't helping, the blanket wasn't helping, the socks wasn't helping, nothing wasn't helping. Why? Because I started feeling restless. I wanted to rest, but I started feeling restless. And because I started feeling restless, what I had to do, pray again. I had to go back into prayer and say, God, I know you're here. And God is saying, I am your peace. I will give you peace in your restlessness. So, for those of you who are going through a storm right now, whatever your storm is, it doesn't matter your storm. Storm is not discriminating by country, area, or category. Storm is coming and it is hitting one way or the other. Just the way my sister just buried her husband last week. That is her storm. Someone else might be going through another storm. I just mentioned earlier that I got a call that someone that I know very close died. That is a storm. And I am talking about, you might be going through a financial storm. That is your storm. So everyone have a different kind of storm, because storm is not going to discriminate. No. But what we must remember as we recap this short um, recording, to know that, how do we see God in the storm? We got to see God as our peace, our way maker, our light, our guide, our strength. God is our all in all. So I want to thank you so much for tuning in and listening to me as I rise back up. Let me tell you, God is all of that for me. And I will rise back up. And when we resume our live streaming, where that lady is not on screen, but I will be back on screen, then we going to take it to full force. Thank you so much for tuning in. And don't forget, you know where the share button is. It is in the middle of the screen. Click it, share it, invite somebody else to come on in and dine with us. Listen to me here. Life is like getting fresh food, darling. Fresh food come off the stove or off the oven. Even it's a bowl of cereal. It is fresh food. So you want to share the life. Why would you want to not give somebody fresh food? And if you don't watch this on live, what is it that you'll be watching the replay, which is like leftover food? You want to press the share button as well. Invite somebody else to come on in and dine with you. Sometimes it's good to eat alone, and then sometimes it's not good to eat alone. Because believe me, sometimes when you eat together, you are not mindful because you are paying attention to everybody else and you're chit chatting while you eat. We did a video on this couple of days back. Be mindful while you eat. So, this is your girl. I'm coming back soon. Don't you worry. Verona Willis Brown saying, ah, God is with you. May God be with you. Don't y'all worry. Say bye to that lovely lady on the screen. And I'll see you soon. Don't you worry. Keep on praying me up because I'll come back full force. Bye.